How's it going, Aries community? Soul Tiger is here with a special story for this wonderful community. Let me start this video by saying thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your patience as I navigate this story between the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and everything in between. Now, with that being said, this is a space where we call in the angels, ancestors, spirit guides, as well as divine and universal energy to come on in and be the guides and protectors of all the positive messages that are going to come out. Keep in mind that this is not Love Tarot. This channel is geared around self-empowerment. And what that means to me is us building the stepping stones to get closer to our soul being, which helps align us with a higher power. So let's talk about your vibe here, Aries. Stay humble in the way you move still. You may be finding fortune in the things that you have pursued over the years from all of the hard work as well that you've been putting in. Stay grounded in appreciating that you have made it this far. Sometimes success is a test to see if we can still be swayed by temptation. Here, with everything you've learned, you will be presented with a series of tests. This is the divine checking in on your heart and intentions. Be careful with letting success go to your head. This thing could handicap you from being able to do more. Don't let yourself get big-headed to where you can't walk out a door, or you can't walk in a door, basically. Hint, hint. Creating a stuckness within you that focuses on showing off and showing out everything you have gained. Sometimes increase in material goods comes with illusions. Remember that saying, more money, more problems? This is kind of what this is speaking upon. If you take this all into with the bad ego, using the bad ego, letting everything go to your head, basically. Stay humble is to still live within your means. One of the best ways to stay humble is finding ways to give back to your community. Helping create good karma for others will help inspire others to reach for their dreams, just like you have done and still doing. Aries, welcome to being in the energy of the Emperor. Kudos, 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 kudos. So to sum this up, basically there's a big warning sign. You've learned so much, you've came so far. Don't use that against others when it comes to dealing with other people and their foolish thinking, their foolish ways. Even this temptation of, now that you have this success, that you think you can keep up with the Joneses. You may be able to keep up with the Joneses, but it's going to handicap you from other things. And what that is, and what I'm seeing is, if you go into this staying humble, giving back to your community, this is going to bring on networking for you. You're going to meet people. You're going to be at places, again, that are going to help maybe get you to doors that you never even thought of before. Open doors to opportunities that you never thought of. But it takes you giving back to others, to stay humble, to show that you're not above anybody because you have been able to find success. They want you to be a really big inspiration for others, to help create this light that others see that they can obtain to type of thing. And you're going to run across people, you're going to run across things where you're going to want to fight with them. You're going to want to prove them wrong because of how hard you're working or how hard you have worked. Now, this is the caution here because they don't want you to close yourself off to people, things, thinking that they're not good enough with their opinions, not good enough with the things that they're saying, not good enough because they haven't found success like you have found success. They want that good karma exchange where you step back and you're humble and you see that you have plenty to share, whether it's with knowledge, whether it's creating something within your community that encompasses giving back. These are the main things here with this frequency this time around. So let's go ahead and get started with the introduction. When you give back to a community, when you give back to your fellow person, you directly feed the collective conscious with positive energy. And the reason why you're being told to dial back and stay humble is because they don't want you to feed into the rat race where we're supposed to be in competition with everybody, that we are supposed to be one up on everybody. That's what they don't want you to do, because again, that will close yourself off. Now, I will take a detour real quick. I came across this absolutely wonderful automotive shop. And one of the things that stood out with this automotive shop was the fact that they had all kinds of other businesses that were also automotive shops who would be looked at as their competitors. They had all kinds of their competitors' cards up in their shop right there by where you go talk to them about your appointment, you go make your payment, da-da-da-da-da. And I told him, holy moly, I was talking to this lady. She was really cool, Martha. And I was like, I have never seen this before. Usually, a lot of companies are just really focused on their business. If they have other companies there, these are companies that are kind of outside of their business, but still kind of within that scope, but it's something different. And this lady told me the most humblest thing ever when it came from a business perspective. She says, you know what, there's times that we don't know everything. There's times that we reach out to other shops to see if they're going through some same issues, da-da-da-da-da. Basically, what they did is they set up a network with these businesses. If looked at from the dark side of ego, it would have been their competitors. But because it's looked at from the good side of the ego, the light side of the ego, it's looked at as also a support group. A support group not just for this shop, but for their customers as well. And for me, that stood out. That told me that these people, this company, is very humble. They're humble with their vision. They're humble with the way that they put themselves into the community. Maybe that will help. Maybe that's a really good example for you, Aries. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm hearing ancestors and spirit guides. What is it that needs to come out for this introduction? Something we're not seeing that we're at odds ends with is it comes to self-employment. Confused how to spread our wings. How to navigate everything that we've gathered on this journey when it comes to, I feel like, our success, but it's navigating it within that third eye, within that guided energy that we feel. Third eye energy is all about intuition, clarity, insight, and imagination. So right here, if you're having nightmares of worrying about your competitors, this is what's going to close things off to you. How can we open up that we are a community and we can create supportive kind of systems, not just for us, but for others in this community that will help all of us reach our goals of abundance. And that abundance doesn't just have to be the wealth of material goods. That abundance could be a wealth and community support. All right, let's see what else needs to come out. Ooh, something that falls on that self-employment. Hold on, let me put this in the right way. Finances. Sometimes you got to spend money to make money. You got to put yourself out there. You got to go do things that you've never done before. You got to speak upon things that you've never spoken upon. You got to face fears that you've never faced before. Yes, you're going to find others who are going to be like, oh, why are you trying to partner with us? Oh, why do you want to work in the community? Oh, why are you wasting your time doing that? I mean, and this is where you speak up. You have this confidence, this clear communication, and the creativity here that you want to express. And it all has to do with stability, groundedness, security, and vitality. There is a wealth of vitality when you start to put good karma out there, especially when it comes to this collective consciousness of the human species. Because if you think about it, we're governed, we're led, but it's also pushed upon us to be in heavy competition with each other, not to boost each other up, but to tear each other down through putting a microscope on others' imperfections. The imperfections is what makes us unique, though. So just know that if you're worried that you're going to spend too much trying to do this, you got to give a little to get a little kind of thing. Remember that. Healing from the past. Something you're confused on. Something you're at a distance about. Maybe this has to do with a little bit of social anxiety. A lack of self-esteem, or low self-esteem, I should say. Maybe this is something where a lot of procrastination comes in. And right here, I feel like you're going to start to move in a direction where you start to heal that. When you start to network with others, maybe you're going to see something about yourself that they point out as like a really good quality, or even a quality that is very inspiring. And it could heal the view that you have of yourself from the past until now type of thing. It's amazing when you get out and you start to talk to like-minded people, the things that you will learn. Something else that comes in is you're confused on support. You're confused on how to speak, how to go in, how to go talk to these ones that you could be viewing as competitors type of thing. This could be with the person, place, and or thing. But again, I'm hearing birds of a feather will flock together. Where you may be shut down in one area, it could be propelling you to another area that's a better alignment for you type of thing. Something that sees things as you see it. Something that has that open communication, or is willing to communicate about things. Because you do have people who are like, my secrets are my secrets. But again, that's them putting up a barrier to everything. For all you know, there could be something that you have been struggling with, and going off on this, you may find support for it. You may find something that you learn here that's going to help propel you as well. What else needs to come out? Patience. Lots of patience is needed when you're taking these steps. When you run into the good, and also when you run into the bad. Then we have family changes. Confused on the changes that are happening right now. Maybe this is coming at the moment that you're having all this success, trying to learn how to navigate this, not just with yourself, but with others as well. Still trying to be open to the possibilities that can be ahead. Maybe there's somebody here who has a lot of different ideas, but you have such a fixed eye on things that you're not sure how to open up to stuff. So even the support system doesn't have to be just with going on ventures with other businesses. It could be relying on the support system within your family. Not just seeing, again, how you're having the more success when it comes to things. Seeing that how others have supported you along the way too. Could be still supporting you. Maybe these others help open up things, ways of seeing for you. And something here that we're going to put an end to, but you're not sure about it, is an end to an error. And what I feel like is you having this insecurity and fear and anxieties about what you bring in. Always double guessing things, having restless nights over simple mistakes that you've made. An end to an error when it comes to your low confidence, especially in the ways that you head out. Ooh-wee. It takes a certain kind of confidence when it comes to even going on entrepreneurships, even when it comes to leading a direction that, say, hasn't been led before, even in a family. And it can be intimidating when you're trying to see what moves to make next, how to view other companies, how to view other people who, because you're finding success, you could start, like I said, it starts to change us a little bit because we get presented with tests. But it doesn't want you to close yourself off and thinking that the world's competing with you. All right, so let's go ahead and get some more clarity. Angels, ancestors, what is it that needs to come out for the present? Y'all seen that? That was different. So it talks about the 5 of Cups and the finances. Something that we're a little bit unstable about, unsure how to look at, unsure how to go when it comes to these emotions. When it comes to even being accepting of being able to forge this way. And then we have the Moon card. The end to an era is what this lands on. Moon card is all about our mysticism. This is represented by Pisces, but it's also represented by Cancerian, because to me this happens because the moon planet is Cancerian's planet. So this talks about what we believe in. This talks about how we feel about things. And that end to an era with this low self-esteem, feeling like you don't bring in things good enough, is something that's going to come to an end if you choose to do this. Because if you choose to look at everything as a competitor, look at people, other places as ops, again, then you're questioning yourself, you're questioning your worth. Everything that you're feeling about them is a reflection of how you're feeling inside yourself. So we have to be careful of what we put ourselves in between when it comes to our thoughts. Believing in more, believing in ourselves, believing in this journey that we've taken, seeing the work that it's taken to even get to this point here. Again, that's being humble with it. Humble, humble, humble. And as I say, being humble with it, this is that King of Coins energy. King of Coins energy is all about the accessories. They're all about having stuff handled, looking good as they're handling it. But be careful, because a lot of times the King of Pentacles can overly focus on their accessories, overly focus on the things that they've gathered around them, and that could tie them down. But you have taken care of things. You brought in some things that has you in a providing energy. And then we have this 4 of Swords here that you're not seeing. in reverse. Now, I feel like to get into this King of Swords or King of Coins energy, there's definitely had to been you using discernment in your thoughts, especially when it comes to the things that you're doing, the moves that you're making, when it comes to you being this provider. King of Cups. You could have made a lot of the moves from a stability kind of standpoint and not so much in the emotions. In a sense, you could have turned into a workaholic to make this all happen. Everything's focused on this one thing here. And this is something about healing the past. This is something that also has to do with your finances. And this is something that has to do with the family changes. Maybe finding the success means that you need to start taking some more breaks instead of being such a workaholic type of energy. Now it's time to step back into your community and start to support this community. Start to see that this feeling of you feeling not good enough is probably something that you've used as motivation to really fuel you on this journey towards the success that you're gaining now. But the whole thing is, they don't want you to keep grinding that way. They want you to start to emotionally start to evolve with it. Not just always focusing again on just the material things that you're gathering around you. Now it's time to build a wealth in a different way of expressing yourself. Because you've expressed yourself in the success, again, with the things that you've gathered around you. But there's something here that, I don't know, maybe others could view you as always being kind of selfish, always being distracted with whatever this is. It could be even at times you come off to others as emotionless. And then this comes down to, or this comes off of your beliefs. So there's something here, a big fear in your beliefs of basically something happening and you losing all of your success. There's something here with this Two of Swords. Two of Swords is like a blocking energy. So maybe there's this fear of you're going to overspend on stuff. Maybe there's this fear of that something at any moment, any time can take everything away from you. We're going to get a clarity card for this Two of Swords because I'm feeling a little different about this Two of Swords. So we have 3 cards that come out for the Two of Swords here. So we have this Eight of Cups, disappointment, dissatisfaction, tired of current situation. You have a bad attitude. Take action. Leave your current relationship or job. Indicates travel, relocation. Look elsewhere for happiness. Make dramatic changes in your life. Carry through with your plans. And look at that. Eight of Cups. Emotional. Then we have the Hierophant. Be open to unconventional ideas. The truth is not as it seems. However, do not be paranoid or imagine problems. Cheating and deception cause divorce or end of relationships. Friends betray you with slander and gossip. Bad advice serves somebody else's needs. Possible loss of faith in medical, professional, religious, or educational institutes. And then look at this. The Ten of Pentacles comes out in upright. Inheritance or gift of money. Affluence and importance. Material success, security achieved through conventional wealth building methods. Invest in stock market. Buy real estate. Plan for long-term gain, not quick returns. Seek a permanent job that will serve your unlimited career goals. So I feel like this is speaking upon your anxieties of your past here. The things that you had to overcome to get to the success that you have now. But right now, sitting with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, you're not fully seeing the success. Somehow you're still unsatisfied that you took a leap of faith. Basically, you walked away from something once before. You took a leap of faith and you found success here. Maybe it's you've reached this success, but you're still unfulfilled. There's something that you're not fulfilled on. And I feel like this supporting the community is something that's going to be fulfilling for you. And as I say that, I have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords that falls onto this King of Pentacles and onto the Four of Swords here. This could be the truth to something. This could be something worthwhile investing in, especially when it comes to this intellectual side. Sometimes overly intellectual people who are in their mind, who are always trying to map out what they're doing when it comes to their goals, could forget about the emotional side to things. There have been times that, I'm not going to lie, I've been called an asshole instead of a biatch. Excuse my language. And I actually had one ex way back in the day. Way back in the day. And I had told him something and he is like, you're an asshole. You're not a biatch, but you're an asshole. And it was because I was hitting the conversation only from the intellect side. I wasn't opening up to that emotional side to see and feel what this person was telling me. And here I feel like the truth to things and balancing this intellectual with your emotional being, again, is you stepping back into your community. Stepping back into supporting your community in a different way, but it comes at an emotional side to you, something that you haven't been really good at expressing with these others, maybe. All right, anything else want to come out for the present? Yep, look at that Ace of Cups, something that comes out face up. This emotional investment, it's going to be fertility there. Then we have this Ace of Coins in reverse and the Eight of Coins in reverse. Okay, I like this. And the reason why I laugh is because I feel like this is Aries saying, I know I should. I know I could be a little bit more compassionate. I know I could express a little bit more emotions. But here, when Aries expresses emotions and feelings, they feel like it is a vulnerability, like it weakens them. This is an Aries who's really heavily in their masculine energy. And it is the masculine energy programming that has been taught to them, that has been absorbed by the things that they've watched, the things that they've seen. And I have somebody who is very passionate. At the core, they're very passionate about things. They're very passionate about the decisions that they make. You know, they actually do go into their emotions when it comes to making certain financial decisions. They use this emotion of wanting to be this provider. There's a certain emotion attached to that really drives them. But I don't think many people experience that side to them because it's something that's kept under lock and key here. And if Aries was to open up this, they'd feel like people could capitalize on this vulnerability. It could rob them of their stability, of the way that they've invested in their stability. Could even be how they come about, how they present themselves. Again, this is why I'm saying that this is a very heavily coded masculine energy. And I say coded because it's only something that's over you. That is the idea of how you should operate in this energy when it comes to withholding your emotions from others, because it feels like a big vulnerability. This is how I feel like this is a way that you're going to network. This has to do with communication. And this also follows the new moon, full moon interpretation that I came out with this time around. The new moon in Cancerian talks about how people don't really know how we feel at the core of things because we hide it from others. And then the full moon in Capricorn talks about how we even hide from our feelings as well, how we build walls to it, for it, so that other people can't come in as well. And right here, they want you to open up those barriers to this group. It could be the healing of this masculine energy that you have. We need to, so what's happening is for the Aries is they're overly fluxed in this masculine energy. And the thing is, opening up, being vulnerable with your community, speaking about how you feel about things more, that's going to be the thing that's going to bring in some feminine energy. That's accepting, that's kindness, that's mercy. You have mastered masculine energy, which is development, progress, exploration, adventure. That's what you've already done here. But you've only flexed in that one energy. Everybody has both these energies within us. Now it's time to incorporate another energy so that you can bring on a new example of things. You're also going to learn things here. And if this is in a family setting, say you are a parent, this is going to teach your children something different. If it's a community thing, you're going to teach these people in your community something different. By incorporating this energy, opening up to this. Definitely how we feel about things from our past until now sets up our foundations of how we go towards things. How we, like I said, we hold on to things for too long, or how we block ourselves from things or block things from us. If you want a little bit more in-depth view when it comes to the new moon in Cancerian, full moon in Capricorn interpretation, go check out my new moon, full moon interpretation for this time around. Not type around, this time around, excuse me. This is very, very, very interesting. And you know what? A lot of Aries, my North Node is in Aries, which is in my second house, and also my Mars is in Aries. And Aries with your Mars, this is all about conflict. That's what Mars is. It talks about the things that we come into conflict with here. You are a fire sign, you're a cardinal, so starting things. That's really, really good. You're really good at it. When it comes to being fixed in things, you can fluctuate in there as well. But when it comes to ending old cycles of yourself, that's something that's really hard for you. You would rather hang on to old habits in a sense and just start something new with those old habits. And this is something that we got to put an old habit to an end to start something new here. And again, this is all about creating a balance within you, Aries. But what I was going to say, one of the biggest misunderstandings that I've had with Aries before, and even people have with me, is I can come off as very emotionless at times, always just looking at the logic, always looking at the things that need to be taken care of, instead of looking at how I've taken myself out of my community only to focus on this one thing. And because too, I'm always overly focused on this one thing, sometimes I could come off brash. Sometimes I can come off as emotionless. And one of the biggest journeys I've had is learning how to communicate how I feel about things so that others will understand where I'm coming from. Others are going to be able to get an idea instead of just assuming why I'm doing something or why I'm saying something, because my mind is always on the prize, especially when it comes to being a provider. So this could be something like that for Aries here. Let's go ahead and dive off into the block. Angels, angels, angels of protection. Help guide us. Help guide us. What I'm seeing here, and this is the biggest, I'm hearing caution right here. This is the biggest caution right here. What I'm hearing is you don't feel like what I'm doing is good enough. I'm trying my best. Isn't this good enough? This best. I can't give much more. Isn't it good enough? That's what I keep hearing from the Aries. The Aries is frustrated. The Aries is very frustrated again because they're very focused on this being the provider energy. But there's something here missing. You ever had cookies made, a cake made, a dessert made, and you ate it? It was all right, but you could tell something was missing. And that something missing was going to make it all come together even more. This something that's missing, again, is people not understanding how you feel about things. That's what I'm getting. And you have this wall up to how you feel for yourself and others, which is making you really frustrated, and you're not understanding why people aren't happy with the success that has been made. And this is where this humbleness is the key, because when you get ready to fly off the handle in the ways that you have handled things, that's you getting ready to boast about all your accomplishments, how you're this, how you're that, how you do this, how you do that, bah, 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 bah. And that's where you close yourself off, because you're getting defensive. That's not the time for this. This is the time, again, to stay humble. When they're telling you stuff, you need to be humble. You need to be humble. You need to listen. And maybe listen with this emotional side to you. Listen to a side that you've blocked out. But maybe don't listen. No, it's not maybe, but don't listen to react. What it is take it in and sit with it. Sit with it, sit with it, sit with it. For the Leo community, it talks about they need support. They need support from their community. And they were dealing with some hard truths. Some truths that they couldn't do anything about, can't do anything about in this moment really, but heal from. And right here, one of the biggest things for that Leo was being open with their community. Having that emotional vulnerability where they talk to their community about how they feel about things. This is kind of what you're teetering on too. You're not really bothered exactly by something. Something isn't coming up. It doesn't feel like a hard truth isn't coming up. But what is coming up is this friction between people not knowing how you feel and you just always going for that one goal. So angels of protection, please keep us protected as we navigate the shadow side to the Aries. It's always hard, Aries. That's what I'm feeling from you. You feel a little devastated because you got to open up in a way that you're not used to. A way that makes you feel like you don't have control. Oh wow, I didn't want to flip these cards, but I ended up doing it. But the whole thing is, if we don't open up, that leaves others to interpret our actions. And maybe as deceit, maybe as lying, maybe as not really understanding why we can't see eye to eye with things. Maybe that's the thing, is putting something in between you and another. That's what I'm getting. Then I'm supposed to take this one. I feel like you've been really overactive. Somehow you've been really overactive, just going in that one direction, not exploring other ways to go, other ways of growth, other ways of wealth. A lot of people think that the wealth, well, let me back this up. People have forgotten that wealth is built in many different ways, and that's because of this whole evolvement of consumerism. Now, with this evolvement of consumerism, the way a lot of us look at wealth is by everything that we have obtained around us. And right here, you've attained, I can't say it right. Why am I not being able to talk? Excuse me. Right now, you have been able to gather a lot. You have. But now that you have this wealth, the divine wants you to look at a different kind of wealth. That wealth comes at how we view others, how we celebrate with others, how we basically don't celebrate with others. What I hear is you and these others need a break. I don't feel like it's a break in relationship, break in seeing each other. What I feel like is you and these others need a actual break that isn't one of precise calculating. And what I mean by precise calculating is, okay, well, I'm going to have 4 days off, so we need to get here by this day, get here by that day, get here by this day. No, what I get here is you need to find time to basically do nothing. Do nothing with these others, in a sense that you don't plan everything out, you just let it roll. Have an initial plan. We're going to take a break. We're going to go on vacay. We're going to go on a camping trip. But we're not going to plan it down to the T. All we're going to do is plan the direction that we're going, where we're going to get, and the amount of days that we're going to be there. That's it. They don't want you to over dial into it to where there has to be control. Because then if you're doing that and you're planning this getaway, you're planning this time with them, then you have everybody on a time limit. And you're not really able to enjoy it. They want you to enjoy the company of these others. They want you to really celebrate with these others. They want you to open your eyes to the smiles. The smiles that you put on these others' faces by being this provider, but also the smile. They want you to smile. They want you to feel the harmony within. They want you to have your, basically, is express your emotions through this happiness, through the success of what you have built, through the success of the examples that you have led. They want you to think outside of whatever it is that you've been just overly focused on with the intellectual side. Anything else needs to come out? Anything else? Yeah, because I mean, right now there is something that's between you and a particular energy. And as I say this, I feel like you come out as the King of Wands. Whatever this other particular energy is, you're really passionate about, but you don't know how to express your feelings towards them. You only know how to express your provider side to them. If we know one thing about Ross, the character on Friends, he always expressed how he felt to Rachel. It didn't work out, so I don't want you to focus on that. But a lot of times with the King of Wands, we forget that this is a person who's really sound in their emotions as well. Almost as if they're sound in the emotions, which helps align them even more with their charisma. I feel like you unknowingly have tapped into the emotional side to get stuff accomplished. But there's a side to you that is withheld from others. That's what I feel like. There's just this side and they want you to come in a little bit more emotionally sound. And then I have the Sun. The will to believe that you can do things different, the will to believe that what I'm hearing, whatever aches your heart when it comes to your community, it's changeable. It is not set in stone yet, because I feel like you feel like things are set in stone. But this is also the truth that's gonna help bring stuff out and create a new way of healing. I feel like a new way, especially with connecting with this other, whoever this other particular person, place, and or thing is. What I'm getting is very good karma. That's what I'm supposed to say, is very good karma can follow this if you choose to go on this type of journey. I have a Page of Cups and a Six of Swords. I feel like you clamming up when it comes to being open with how you feel about things, expressing that emotional side to you, is a part of your defense. It's definitely a part of the defense that you've used to go to other places, climb mountains. I don't know, there could have been an example in the past where you've seen an overly emotional person and this person was unbalanced though. And you've seen how their emotions just created more trouble, more hardships in the community. So you figure if you clam up your stuff, then you're not going to be a problem like what they were in your past, whoever this is. Oh, now it's making sense. Now it's making sense. You know, we can grow up in communities. We can grow up in communities where there's narcissists. We can grow up in communities where there's a lot of drama. We can grow up in communities where there's not really many people there that will help us process how we feel. And this makes sense. This makes sense because this healing from the past that came out earlier, I couldn't place it, but now I'm placing it. This is the part of the past that you need to heal. You're not whoever this person was. There's sometimes when we grow up in certain situations, we run from certain habits that we grew up with seeing from others. And maybe icing off your emotions in a sense was you deeming that I'm not going to be this drama llama type of person. And that's how you were able to find success. But I also feel like, again, you're operating in a very high masculine type of energy, or you're only operating in a very proficient, I should say, masculine energy. So this could be something that you've seen from the past. Maybe you had a particular masculine in your life who was always working. He didn't show much emotions. He showed up with smiles. He showed up when he was there. But his time was always taken up by working. And there could be something here. This like, I'm seeing puzzle pieces coming together now. This could be something here that you're feeling like is repeating. And this could be something that's triggering you to be more quiet, triggering you to follow in his steps, but also avoiding whoever else's mistakes here. Ooh, this is making sense. Oh my goodness. Just know you're not the mistakes of these others. These others were put into positions in our lives for us to learn from them, learn what not to do, what to do, and how to do something better. This is some deep reflection that you gotta have. This could be a conversation that you have with whoever this is. And we open up to the barriers that we have around it. You know, sometimes we get faced with people, places, and or things who directly poke at something that we have blocked off, and they stay poking at it and poking at it. And if they love you, if they care about you, they will poke at it and poke at it and poke at it and poke at it. Not to annoy you, it's to help you express something, to help you heal from something, to help you open up to something. Because everybody we run into, businesses, people, places, are all some kind of reflection of us. So right here, this person is reflecting a certain part of you, a certain part that may be needing to heal. And the divine, just like dark energies, work through people to help bring out our lessons. This could be something like that here. This person, I wouldn't say don't always take it as they're hounding you for something in particular. I would take it as this person's trying to open you up. They're over here poking at a wound that they don't even know that they're poking at, but they're being told to, they're being led to, so that you will finally look at this wound that you have, and you will be ready to finally clean it out. It's infected. It's been there for a while. It probably stinks a little, and this person's like, hey, you got something right here, and you're like, ah. But it's time. You have a community here that will help you. It will help support you. Then I have the Hermit. So relying on others with that Hermit in reverse, relying on others and how their happiness played into their lives. That's something that's basically hung you up, and it keeps you hung up when it comes to things. You know the mistakes. You know deep down the ways that you wish whoever this was in your past would have did things. You have that wish. You could even have a little resentment or a chip on your shoulder about it. And this is a part of getting yourself down from here. Is basically trusting in that these others were human. They were making mistakes too. They may have not recognized it. They may still not recognize it, but something deep down in you has recognized it. And you've molded your life, your decisions based off of what you've experienced. And that's okay, because you're reaching a level to where you've mastered this, and it's time to move on. It's time to move forward. It's time to do things different when it comes to the community around you. Ooh-wee. Honestly, with the vibe, I did not know how this was gonna come out. Oh my goodness, sometimes when I do because what happens is when I get ready to cleanse out cards, when I'm saying my devotions, when I am putting out the intentions, when I come in to do these stories, and I'm receiving right away, this is why I write stuff down, when I'm receiving right away the things that the divine universal energy, your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, the things that they want to bring up, the topics that have been troubling you that they've seen, I don't understand how it's going to come out. I'm not going to lie, especially when I dialed into Aries right here with everything being like that. I didn't know how this was going to come out. But it's very fitting. It is very fitting. And this is something that I want to let you know, Aries, this isn't something that only you have gone through. And I'm saying this because I don't want you to feel like for some reason there was something wrong with you. There has been something wrong with you, and this is why everything in the past with these others happened the way they did, or the way it did. Those others, what I'm hearing to say, had their own heads up their butts about their insecurities and the ways, the way they were trying to handle it. Excuse them for being ignorant to things. And I say that with the most lightest heart, but you have an older ancestor here. This could have been their parent or even their grandparent that tried to give them advice about things and they didn't listen. And that's why this elder here, this ancestor, basically put it out as they were being ignorant with their heads up their asses. So just know that. Just know that whoever this elder is that you were close with as a child, they're still around. They are around. They are one of your guardians. They're definitely one of your guardians. They've been there. You honestly may have never met them. Or if you did meet them, you were very, very young and you wouldn't have remembered. But there's a certain attachment that this guardian has to you, particularly. It has to do with a certain energy that both of you have in common. And it has to do with the forging of things, this entrepreneurship. This could have been a business-minded elder as well. All right, so let's call in divine and universal energy, because guess what, Aries? We finally made it to the conclusion. What is it, divine and universal energy, that needs to come out for the conclusion for the Aries? Oh my goodness. All right, let's see something we're not seeing that we're confused on. I like this. This is really tender. This is very intimate. And it isn't just intimate in the sense where we're going to go lay with something. This is intimate as this is something that's tender. And I just want to speak on Virgo. Virgo's 6th house. It's all about self-examination and improvement. They want you to improve on what you've learned from this King of Wands in the past, this past energy. They also want you to take time. Remember, I told you need this break, but you need this break with your support system, with your team. A time to give rather than take. And I want you to see how this landed. This landed directly on them. This is them expressing on this new tenderness. tenderness for yourself, tenderness for whoever this is, person, place, and or thing. They want you to be able to feel that you have an option of not changing yourself, but you can change the way you go about things, especially when it comes to others. All right, what else needs to come out? When you're worried about the stability, when it comes to you rocking the boat, when it comes to your fear of expressing how you feel about things, just know you and your loved ones are safe. You feel like you're gonna have a reaction like you had to whoever in the past. I don't feel like that. These others are gonna be astonished. What I see is somebody's literally gonna have their jaw drop. They're gonna be surprised because the adjustments that are gonna come out. And right here with this card is adjustments are required. Adjustments are required, and confidence is your key. Confident in being able to move a little bit different. You know what's beautiful? What is very, very, very beautiful, Aries, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Again, North Node in Aries, Mars in my Aries house. So I feel you. I feel you. This is also something that I've had to work through. The whole thing is when you start to get in touch with that emotional side, when you're able to have confidence in being able to express it to your team, to your support system, to how you're networking with others, this brings on a new confidence in you. Because what's happening is not only are you listening to yourself, but you're putting it out there for others. You know, this is your truth. This is how you feel about things. This is all ways of protecting yourself. But for this story, it's a way of you to get connected to others, again, who are in your support system. And it's amazing. It is amazing what can happen when you use honey to attract people's sweetness, opposed to having a shitty attitude because you're frustrated. You're frustrated because you're not expressing how you feel and you feel like nobody understands. This takes time. This takes learning how to communicate differently. But guess what, Aries? This is a wonderful day and age to live in, because you can pick up a book on communication. You can watch videos here on YouTube on ways to better communicate how you feel and stuff. You can find resources. You can find coaches and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you feel like you're going to get lost in something, you feel like you don't have the means to do it, then there's other ways to find resources to help build that confidence for you. But the thing is when you start listening to yourself, when you start putting out there instead of withholding, you're gonna feel heard, but you're gonna feel more ease in your environment. You're gonna feel this ease in your environment to where you're gonna be able to laugh with others, smile with others, feel at home with just hanging out with these others and not having to go be the workaholic to run away from how you feel type of thing. It's really good medicine here to do that. Don't forget that this is always for entertainment purposes. I have to do that, especially when I mention stuff like medicine. But again, this is building a wealth that is not attainable by material goods. But the whole thing is you've worked so hard for everything around you that you are being given time to work on this wealth now. So something you're not seeing, something that you're at odds ends with, is you are very close to achieving your goal in a gibbous mood. You are close to not repeating the same mistakes of others. You are close to getting to a place where you want to be with others. This is just the last step that's required. Like I said, you've been this provider. You've done so much in this whole area over here. But there's something here. And what I'm hearing is you've been secretly asking for a certain kind of balance. And I'm hearing within the home, to be particular. And this right here, asking about it, that started manifesting it. This is why this is all being presented. This is why you've reached this point right now, because you're close to getting there. Now it's just going to require a little bit of different kind of work from you. All right, so let's go for the last card for the conclusion. Oh, I like this a lot. So something you're not seeing just yet, something I feel like you really need to get solid in your beliefs when you start to move towards this new thing that you're going to work on when it comes to you expressing yourself within your support system. Is that a new moon in Taurus? Prosperity lies ahead. And with Taurus energy is all about our sacral energy. This is joy, this is passion, this is healthy relationships, creativity. You're going to feel the flow of abundance in these areas when you start to work on this side of you, when you start to express yourself in the ways that you've always held yourself back from. Being okay with expressing yourself and not carrying this fear of the repercussions that you feel like are going to happen. Wow. Wowie, wow, 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 wow. Aries, this is a jaw-dropping story right here. Like I said, I didn't know how this was going to unfold, but I'm very grateful. I am very, very, very grateful. And like I said, with my testimony, honestly, healing this emotional side, opening up to this emotional side has been some of the biggest medicine when it comes to the relationships around me, in particular with the feminine energy, because we run at odds ends when it comes to expressing how we feel. And when this person comes in hot, this is my daughter, when she comes in hot towards me, I was always coming in just as hot. And we sit here and we want to compare egos and stuff like that. This is why, instead of always boasting about how you provide, how you do this, and you're trying your best only in this one direction, isn't the way to go. I've had to learn how to express my emotions when I'm frustrated with my daughter a whole lot differently. Instead of flying off at the handle with her, I have to learn how to express how I feel, but it coming in from a side that is of understanding and seeing what this person's saying. Now, since we're talking about this, and because you're operating in such heavy masculine energy right now, the feminine energy, and I'm still learning about divine feminine. I'm trying to get within that frequency, just like I'm learning about divine feminine or masculine and trying to get in that frequency too. The one thing with divine feminine, few things, is it's a very emotionally connected energy. Listen to the words that represent it. Acceptance, compassion, mercy, kindness. These are like things that we operate out of our emotions with. And I actually had my son, he's a Leo, she's a Sag. I had my son and we were at the store and I was like, we need to buy your sister flowers. Because what I'm understanding is feminine energy needs to be seen. They need to be seen with what they're doing, what they're saying. This is how they feel that appreciation, but also the understanding. My son's like, why do we gotta buy her flowers? That's just my sister. And I had to tell him because she's working very, very hard. She needs to see that we see this so that she feels supported. And so we brought her flowers. She's young, so she's not, how do I put this, very creative when it comes to, and I think this is like her first or second bouquet of flowers, on how to arrange her flowers, where to put them and stuff. So she did just something basic, threw them in water. And intuitively, I felt that I needed to go back and do something a little bit different with her flowers. Leave her original thing up because this is a way of her expressing herself. But I needed to go and I needed to get a few flowers and I needed to place them in specific spots where she will see them. Knowing that she is seen, knowing that she is heard. And she was like, why did you do this? I go, because when you wake up, I want you to know that we see you, that we hear you, and that we acknowledge what you're doing. That is something with feminine energy. And when you're going to bring this into yourself to help balance, you have to see yourself. You have to acknowledge yourself. You have to be very accepting of yourself. And when you can balance out this energy, when it comes to seeing whoever this other is, it's going to be easier. Seeing what they're telling you, seeing how they feel about things is going to be easier because you are starting to interpret how you feel, how you see things as well. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. It brings a tear to my eyes. Wow. Just know I don't know everything. It's a constant journey of learning, interpreting, making mistakes, getting up from our failures, and trying again. Just know that you have time. There's a will, then there will be a way. This is going to conclude it, Aries. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your patience. And don't forget to thank the angels, ancestors, spirit guides, as well as divine and universal energy for coming on in and helping out with all these positive messages. And I hope that you have a most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.